Good evening, fellow Tcash members. How are you? My name is Amos. I will be your trainer today for the final session of the week. And the final session of the week is titled Prepare for Future Credits and Stock Financing. So, in the course of the week, we have had a journey, and I would call it a journey where we have learned a number of things. We started with Monday. On Monday, we learned how to set up the shop. Again, we came to Tuesday. On Tuesday, we learned how to sell faster when it is very busy. And on Wednesday, we did online orders and bookings, and we saw how those ones come. And on Thursday, we did the promote your shop. That is yesterday, how you can be able to promote your shop. And of course, today, for the first two sessions, we have managed the outlets, and also we were able to track the performance and see where the receipts and the records go. So the session now is on how we are going to prepare ourselves for future credits. I would start by mentioning that we as business people, especially those of us who run businesses that don't have registered bank accounts, have had challenges. I would call them disadvantages when it comes to access to credit and stock financing. Why has it been so? It has been so because nobody could prove that actually we have transactions. But now, from the session we had before, we have seen that the system is able to keep our records. For example, when I come to the wallet section here, that is down here, we have the home, order, sell, and the wallet. When I come to the wallet, I'm able to see the records of the sales that have been made. And because now these records are well organized, it is registered whether I received this money in cash or I received this money through the T-Cash. There is something that the app is helping me build using the AI features. Remember, I've pointed out a number of times that the beauty of this platform is that this platform is AI enabled. And by being AI enabled, the platform is able to make some decisions by itself. Like it is able to help me make better decisions. So when it comes to this history, the AI is able to look at the history of my transaction and compile this into a record and give me something that we refer to as a credit rating, credit score, a credit rating. What does that mean? That through these records zenye tuliweza kuobserve hapa na pia tukakuja hapa kwa home, tukaenda hapa kwa sales, tukasema we have the sales insights where we can observe the revenues and so on. Through these records, the AI feature will help me build something that we refer to as a credit score. What is the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that this credit score can be used by you yourself. Yani wewe mwenye biashara unaweza tumia hiyo credit score uende nayo kwa bank and you get a loan based on what your business is showing to have done in the past. Remember, wale watu wamekuwa na mabiashara kubwa and more especially the big business people wanawezanga kuaccess credit very easily. Why? Because them wamekuwa wakibank pesa yao and so on. So through that banking, then they are able to access credit from the banks. But wewe kama mtu wa biashara, maybe a small business, a hair salon and so on, the bank is not able to trust you the way they would trust a person with a bigger business or a person who has something like an employment. So you say anapeleka payslip yake kama security. Sasa sisi wase wa T-Cash tutakuwa tunapeleka T-Cash records zetu kama security ya kusecure pesa for on credit to come and expand our businesses. Remember, one of the challenges ya ku-expand biashara ni gani? You want to bring a new product, but hauna your capital. But the banks have the money. But they can't give you without a good credit history. And this is what the app is helping us to build. So the app looks at your sales overview. Ikiangalia sales overview, inatoka kwa sales overview, inakuja hapa kwa wallet by itself. Kwa wallet inaangalia transaction history zako venye zimekuwa, then that is not enough. It switches from the business to the personal and also observes your spending habits. Inaweza kuobserve umekuwa ukispend aje, like how have you been spending. So it is able to also see the amount of money you're able to spend using the platform, and through those transactions, then the app builds a credit score. Where will you find it? Utakuja hapa kwa icon yenye inaonyesha picha yako on the personal side. So once I tap on that icon, then the first thing that shows up is my name, and of course the switch to business profile, and the code, and the KYC, and below the KYC there is the credit score. Something that I have to talk about now is that for you to access your credit score, for you to be credit worthy, you must first of all complete your KYC. Remember, completing your KYC is one of the safest, one of the, actually I would call it one of the easiest things to do, because all you need is your ID and your face. Just scan your face and send your the front and the back side of your ID to complete your KYC. Once this KYC is complete, like mine is, then the credit score becomes active and you can be able to see your credit score from this side now. When I tap on this credit score, you can, the credit score, it is telling me that the credit score affects my ability to pay later and access future credits and get good interest rates. So what does this information mean to us as business people? Like inaniambia credit score yangu ndio ina determine my ability to pay later. I remember we did a session on pay later, and if you didn't watch it kindly, you can search on it on YouTube. It is just there. When you search on it, you'll be able to see what we said about the pay later. So pay later, we said, is actually a way of picking items on credit and then paying later. When you have a good credit score, you can be able to pick items from a supplier who is using now the T-Cash on credit basis because your credit score allows you. So inamaanisha like naweza enda nichukue products kutoka kwa supplier, nikichukua hizi products nikuje niziuze, na nikiziuza sasa nimlipe pesa yake. At the end of the day nitakuwa nimemake profit na pesa yake. Actually, I will have invested nothing apart from my energy to bring those items to my shop, and in return I'll have earned the money. So this credit score, it has different levels. It has different levels. There is the new. This is for people who are very new to the app. For example, all of us who are watching this video on this month of March would be probably new to the app, because the app was just rolled out on December there. So that means we're still new. So most of us will just have the new. Like you can see, mine is showing me that I'm new, and therefore I don't have any star in terms of rating. So the more I use the app, the more I'll start getting the stars there, the stars feeling. So it will move from new and move to low. So when it moves, when I'm on new, let me just clarify something. When I'm on new, siwezi pewa credit, because app haina transaction history enough ya kudetermine ama mimi ni credit worthy ama si credit worthy. So ndio nitoke new niende low, lazima nifanye transactions with the app. Nikifanya transactions with the app, nita move from new to low. Nikimove from new to low, then nikiwa kwa low, it means that bado nimefanya tu transaction but siwezi aminika sana na hiyo pesa. So what does that mean? That I have to keep on working harder using the app and making sure that I'm doing all my transactions using the app to move from low to a fair. The fair would mean that, okay, I can access some credit. However, even if I access this credit, itakuwa very expensive. Remember, kwa watu tumejaribu kuchukua loans from banks, tunajua that the interest rates are not the same for each and every person. Kuna mtu akienda bank interest inapewa ni kidogo, na kuna mwenye akienda bank interest anapewa ni kubwa. Unapewa interest based on what? Wanaangalia the risk involved. Like wanaangalia wewe ni mtu riski, tukikupatia do unaweza potea. So wanaangalia hivyo. Wakiona wewe ni mtu riski, tukikupatia pesa unaweza potea, so that would mean hawawezi kupea credit score ya juu, and therefore watakuripisha interest mingi. Kama wewe ni customer umekuwa loyal, the interest inaenda chini, so unapata wanaweza kupea something like 100,000 and you end up paying 105,000. So the interest is 5,000 because you're a trustworthy customer to them. So you need to also work hard. When you have the fare, it means you're still not using the app enough. You'd have to use it enough. By using it enough, what do I mean? Like you have registered your biashara there, but you must ensure that all the money is coming through the app for you to build that credit score. Yani make sure pesa yako yote, kama mtu anakulipa na M-Pesa, alipe na M-Pesa but ikuje through the Tcash wallet. Kama mtu anakulipa na Tcash, of course itakuja automatically to the wallet. That helps you. Again, kama mtu anataka kupea in cash, you must record this transaction kwa Tcash platform. What is the danger of not recording that? Usiporecord your transaction, umejinyima opportunity ya kupea app information yenye itaisaidia kukutengenezea credit score. So that will mean you will have nobody to blame. Itakuwa ni just yourself if you're doing transactions and not recording them, because that will mean that the app will not have sufficient information to build a credit score for you. Remember the fare, I've said, and I'll still insist, the fare is not a good credit score, because you will be getting some credit, yes, but the interest will be higher. Utakuwa unajaribu kununua kitu from or using the pay later basis, but una realize the interest charged is higher. So to ensure that the interest charges inaenda chini, we need to transact more. When we transact more, our credit score will change from being fair to being good. Hapo kwa good, what do we mean? Like hii credit score sasa ni mzuri. When we have a good credit score, we can be able to access credit at reasonable terms. Like because tunalipa bills zetu on time, like we have some level of trust yenye tumesha anza kuget for using the platform. So having a good credit score would mean at least now you can access goods on fair, I would say, terms, in terms of interest, and that will be helpful to you to grow your biashara. Then we have the great. A great would mean that now the rates will be very, very good for us. Like everybody can trust us. Kila mtu hata kama akuwe ni supplier wako can trust you. If that is not your supplier, maybe you need to get a loan to buy some products from people who don't have the app. You can go to a bank, unaweza pewa loan na ukuje uchukue hiyo pesa and pump it into your business. What is the importance of doing all this and accessing all this money? Remember, for you to generate enough in terms of profits, you must have capital investment almost equivalent to or that can generate you the amount that you wish to make. If for example niko na shop moja na ni notice shop moja inanipea 20k ama 20,000 na nitake hii do ni double ikwe 40,000, what do? I have two options. Naweza expand hiyo shop yangu ama I open another branch of my shop elsewhere. To open another branch inamaanisha nahitaji pesa ya kutengeneza certain structures hapo ndani za kuleta stock and so on and everything, na kuregister business registrations and everything. So for me to do that, lazima nikuwe na pesa. Kama sina pesa na nataka kuaccess hiyo level, nitafanya aje? I can walk into a bank with my great credit score and be able to get money from the bank or access products from my suppliers on credit and come and stock that shop. So inamaanisha at the end of the day, yes, I'll be servicing the loan, but at the end of the day, nitakuwa na make profit double from shop 1 and from shop 2. And that is why we are saying that this digital biashara is actually the future of biashara, because at the end of the day, now the gap is being breached. We are bridging the gap. The gap that was existing before will no longer exist. We'll have equal chances because transactions zako zinaapia, zangu zinaapia. And therefore, when we go to a banking institution, we all have like the same, I would call it, we all have similar, it's a level playing ground, which would mean like kila mtu ako na equal chance ya kupata credit. Then great is still not the maximum you can attain. You can attain the elite. How do you attain the elite? You attain the elite when now wewe ni mtu sasa tunaweza sema wa Tcash kabisa. What does that mean? Like wewe ni mtu wa soko kabisa. You do almost all your transactions using the Sokol. You're buying using the Sokol, you're selling using the Sokol. Eventually, when you do this over a number of times in a period of 6 months, your credit score becomes the elite. Ikifika elite, inamaanisha that like sasa utaanza kuaccess your credit at even very good, very favorable terms. What does that mean? That utakuwa na a very exceptional credit history. Hiyo credit history ni kumaanisha aje? Like tunaweza angalia history yako na tujue like this person is a person who can be trusted with money. It is important for us to note that achieving this may be easy, but there is a way in which we can destroy all this credit score that we are trying to build. How can you destroy your credit score? You can destroy your credit score if once you access credit, you're not repaying in good time. For example, unaweza kuwa unachukua products on say on pay later terms. If you don't pay in good time, if you don't repay in good time, that affects your credit history. Na credit history yako itaanza sasa kurudi nyuma instead of kwenda ikipanda. So let us ensure that even as we access credit, because we're going to build good credit histories, that is my trust. If we build good credit histories and through the transactions we're making with the app, then we need to ensure that we protect that. Like nisitengeneze and then ni lose in a like a blink of an eye because of maybe a 200 thing that I didn't pay. Let us ensure that we pay this. Because remember, hii app itakuwa tu ina base na history ya transactions zako. Because itakuwa na access to that information through the features zenye nimekuonyesha. So iki access inaweza ona like you failed to pay. So inakurudisha nyuma. Ikikurudisha nyuma inamaanisha that you will have to take some more time again to rebuild and regain your earlier trust. And remember, the higher the trust levels, the low the interest rates are going to be. Whether you're using the pay later or you're using your credit score to access stock on credit basis from your suppliers. Let me also mention something that is very, very important for us: the repayment period of these pay later loans that we take, and also the bank loans that you're going to take to be taken using our credit score. The pay later one, when you have a credit score that is elite, you can choose to pay within any period. You can choose to pay within any period. Unasema, because I am elite, I'll pay within the next 1 month. I'll pay within the next 2 months because already the app is trusting you more. But if your credit score is something like now the fare is only limited to 7 days. So After 7 days, anything utaika kwa app, the app will just deduct it automatically and pay the people who give you goods on pay later basis. Na mbona hii itahappen? It happen because the app still does not have enough information about your transactions, and therefore there is limited trust. So let us ensure that we build our credit scores. How are we going to build them? We are going to build them by ensuring that we are doing as many transactions as possible. In fact, the pay later feature and the credit and the financial institutions are going to start giving people credit in the next 6 months. Actually, it was 6 months since February. So in the next now 5 months, we need to ensure that we are transacting more with the application for us to be ready for that time where you can pick items on pay later basis and pay later. You can access credit from our financial institutions and be able now to, of course, make your business boom, or make your business now open other branches, make your stock like become the stock you have always dreamt of, because that is what credits can do for us. There is something else that I would want to mention, and this is on the repayments. Let us ensure that even as we access credit, we don't forget to pay. And not just pay, but we pay on time. If you say, for example, you have picked something on pay later basis and you have committed to pay in the next 1 month, don't pay in the next 2 months. Pay exactly in that next 1 month. If you commit to pay in the next 7 days, kindly pay in the next 7 days, because if you don't do so, then of course the harm comes back to you. It comes back to haunt you. So let us ensure that we also do that, because once we do that, we will be building our credit histories and maintaining them. Because building them is one thing, maintaining a good credit history is another thing. And we want to do the two things concurrently. Build, at the same time, maintain it. Because when it is well maintained, then you have access to a lot of money. So, what have we learned? We have learned today that the application, the Tcash application on the business side, when I go to whichever business, because remember the app can allow you to switch from one business to another. For example, I own like 5 outlets. I can switch from one to another. When I come to, for example, the Elimu Hub Academy, I'm able to see the transaction history of this Elimu Hub Academy from the wallet. If I'm able to see the transaction history of Elimu Hub Academy from the wallet, then this means I've made all these transactions. All these transactions are available to the app, because mimi naweza ziona. So pia the AI system in the app can be able to see these transactions. Inaweza make decisions na initengenezee a credit score yenye inaweza tumia ku access credit, because kama mimi ni mtu anafanya transactions, that means I'm doing a legal business. If I'm doing a legal business and I've completed my KYC, then it means therefore I am credit worthy if I consistently do this over a period of time. So let us ensure that we build our credit scores. How are we going to build them? Transacting using the app. How do you transact using the app? It's by starting selling using the app, starting buying from outlets that have the Tcash Soko platform, because it is two-way. It is not just about selling. There is also the part of buying. So when you buy or sell using the Tcash Soko platform, then you're able to, of course, build your credit score. Let's ensure we buy at the same time we sell, because both transactions will be viewed by the app before the AI helps it to make a decision for you. And remember, this is all about digital biashara. And why am I saying it's all about digital biashara? Because there is a gap that has always existed. The access to credit was limited to people with employment to people with big businesses. Now, the access to credit through the T-Cash will be to all the people. Yani inamaanishaje? Wewe uko na boda yako, uko na kinyozi yako, whichever type of business you have, utakuwa na equal chances na mtu ako na biashara kubwa. That brings us to the end of our session and the culmination of the sessions of this week. And if you have any question on how maybe you can build your credit history, on what the credit history is all about, you can type it on the comment section below. I'll be getting back to you and responding to your questions promptly as soon as I see them. And finally, I would want to remind you that we have done so many videos in the course of the week. In fact, we do 3 every day. You can go and watch them on YouTube and get to learn more how you can make your shop the perfect one, you can market your shop, and you can build this credit score that we are talking about. Until next week, have a nice weekend. See you on Monday. Thank you and have a great evening.